everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 6 of Buddy Daddies. We're not even halfway through the season yet. We're just barely, and Huckleberry's joining me, we are just barely getting into the series. We're almost halfway after this episode. Between this episode and next one will be the halfway point because it's 13 episodes. Yay, raw for us. But I'm really enjoying Buddy Daddies. I've been trying to keep up as we go week to week. One, because this is like the only chance I will get with a series, with it being anime only, that I don't have to avoid spoilers. I just have to keep up week to week, and that's all I gotta do. Otherwise, there's no other way I can be spoiled. So it's a really good feeling. It's a good feeling to be able to get online and go, I don't have to worry about Buddy Daddies spoiling me. So that's really great. I do have 2 comments that I want to talk about before we start, but I'm really enjoying this series. It's been a lot of fun. I actually wanted to do like a video, I thought at some point, of like why I may like this series more than Spy Family. But I don't know. I don't want to even give that notion too much thought until I finish the whole season, because obviously things can happen in the latter half of a season of an anime. You all know that. That may change my opinion. But so far, I'm like, I'm enjoying this more than Spy Family. And I was like, ugh. And it's funny because I was comparing it at the start of the series with it. And now I'm kind of like, yeah, the comparison, there's a lot of contrast, but I kind of like this more. So we'll see. If I still feel that way by the end of episode 13, that may be my summer project. My summer project may be to do a video about that, because voicing my thoughts. At least where I am with the anime, because I'm anime only with Spy Family. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But I do have 2 comments. I have one from Lay. Lay said that the director of this series was interviewed, and he basically talked about how he went around interviewing actual parents to get feedback on what it was like to raise a kid. And I'm like, that's really cool. I like the idea that all these parents are giving their horror stories of things that have been difficult about parenting, and then the director incorporated that into the series. That's pretty top notch, and it's been very effective so far. Like last episode, I was like, oh, preaching to choirs, right? Like I said, I don't have kids, but I've helped take care of kids, and I've helped family members take care of their younger kids, and I'm like, nope, these are all things very valid. So I thought that was really cool. But also, Tamir noted that the voice actor for Kyu-chan is the same one as Ishine from Bleach and Blanca from Banana Fish. And I was like, oh, so I like immediately went back and listened and was like, I can hear Blanca. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He doesn't make his voice as deep with Kyu-chan. His voice is a little bit more like normal pitch. So I was like, huh. But yeah, how cool, right? I thought that was really nice. It's great. I'm going to watch Bleach this summer. So I'm getting all these voice actors from Bleach coming back. It's really fun. But it is actually cold outside. The temperatures have been dropping throughout the day. So I have like a Cowboy Bebop corgi blanket in my lap. I've got this lovely cup of warm decaf coffee because it's kind of mid-afternoon. It's the weekend. It's great. And I'm really ready to dive into Buddy Daddies and see what all happens this episode. Last episode was really cute, but I feel like we've set the stage. We've set up our characters. We've set up the stakes of them taking care of Miri. Kyu-chan knows. The one hitman Rio knows, but he doesn't know that she's theirs. We've set a lot of stuff up. So now it's like, okay, let's get into the plot. What are we going to do with all this stuff? So I'm really excited, y'all. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive right in and see what happens. So I hope y'all enjoy, but we are going to start episode 6 of Buddy Daddies. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh my God, this episode was absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. It really, truly was, right? And I was feeling some secondhand embarrassment for Kazuki. I won't lie. I was feeling like Ray's like, you need to calm down, because honestly, it's kind of amazing that Ray is a really good dad. He really is. He's a little lax. a little lax. Like, he forgets some stuff. Like, he forgot about the lunch and he lost her in the last couple episodes. Like, Ray is a perfect balance for Kazuki. He is super chill. Nothing phases him. He's like, we'll just handle it. It's fine. Kazuki gets so overwhelmed and tries to compensate, and he gets so emotional, and Ray's like, let's just calm down. They're perfect for each other. Now, Karine, I was thinking of Karine from Bleach, which is funny because Q-chan's voice actor plays as Sheen, her dad. Who is Karine? Is she Ray's sister? She kind of has blue eyes, kind of like Ray. Could she be his sister? That'd be kind of funny if she was, and we have Auntie Karine. That would be kind of funny. Is she another assassin or a hitman, kind of like Rio, where she's coming in to get work? I don't know. I feel very protective of Ray and Kazuki. Like, I know this isn't a BL. I know it's not, but I don't want any ladies coming in trying to steal any of them. Even that's the funny thing is, like, Kazuki's a womanizer. He's had sex with plenty of women in this series already that we know of. But it's weird. They're no names. They're not important. They're not Ray. So it's the weirdest feeling. But as a shipper for those two, I'm like, stay away, ladies. But man, I love Kazuki and Ray and their dynamic together, especially with parenting, because Kazuki over panics and Ray is very chill about everything. And the funny thing is that they come from it from different perspectives. Like, we get confirmation that Kazuki did not have parents, because he says about parental abandonment. He talks about that. Let me get on this. So we start from the very beginning of this episode with him folding up all their clothes and doing laundry, right? Again, the roles that they take on in this series, where Kazuki, he cooks, he cleans, he plans out the missions, he does the reconnaissance, where he does all the intel work, and Ray is our muscle behind everything. But get this toy for my dog. But he's sitting there folding laundry in front of the TV watching the news. He's like, the third time your son's hurt somebody, as a father, will you take responsibility? And he says, please forgive me. And then we have Ray. Ray's over here, like, working out his six-pack. I'm like, just doing all the exercising. I'm like, as you do. My thing is, I'm like, Ray needs to get some, like, track gear or something, because having worked out in jeans before, not ideal. I'm like, this dude needs to get himself some exercise equipment. I guess he's planning for if he has to be in a situation where he would be in jeans. Sure. So it says, actor's eldest arrested for assault. A definite case of parental inattention. Parents these days are too lenient with their children when they're young. And so it's like the panel there. They have to be firm, teaching them right from wrong. And the thing about it is, Miri knows right from wrong. And she does a lot of good things with Taiga this episode that are really, really cute. And I was like, oh, girl, you're doing good things. Which is amazing because her parents are hitmen. But I'm like, they're doing the right thing with her. And he's like, is that what parenting's about? And he's like, I wonder if we're too lenient. And then he has this flashback. He's like, do you think she'll end up the same way? And the hilarious thing about all this is that they pick her pockets out, right? There's hand sanitizer. There's like Choco Mints. There's Pokey Sticks. There's Mario Kart 6 on the PS6, which is hilarious. And she's just sitting there, and she kind of looks like her mom, a mix between her mom and her dad there, right? I love that we see like the older version of Miri. It's amazing. And she has like the time to, and of course Kazuki doesn't look any older. It's amazing. The sign says, don't do it. Watch out for phone scams. Keep calm, talk to someone. The Phone Scam Prevention Society. He's like, why'd you shoplift, Miri? She's like, it's because raised by scum like you old fart. And he's like, I'm not old. I love that Kazuki's like off in his own world. And he's like, our Miri would never, right? He's like, of course, all mothers say the same thing about their kids. And I like that Ray's over there being like, other mothers? Like Ray's like, Kazuki is taking this parental gig very seriously. And I like that the implication of other mothers includes Kazuki. So Ray's like, are you we're both papas, but are you taking on the more motherly role in this situation? Is that what you're suggesting? Ray's just like, what? He's like, what do we do if Miri breaks bad? And I love that he's like, you're one to talk. He's like, we're both hitmen. What would he expect? He's like, I'm exactly one to talk. He's like, look at me. He's like, parental abandonment is the reason I turned out this way. And Ray is just looking at him. I love that Ray just looks at him kind of like, what, I don't know how to answer this, and also you're giving me such personal information. Like, they really are, the two of them are really becoming like a couple. It's great, the two of them co-parenting like this. But Ray's like, what do you want me to do? What I like is that Kazuki says, you know, he didn't have any parents, so he doesn't know how to parent, and he's always wanted to be a parent for a kid, but he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's kind of the opposite. And I mean, they both have bad parental lives. They've had bad childhoods, technically, the two of them. But with Ray, it's not that Ray didn't have parental abandonment. It's just his dad was awful. So Ray kind of knows, okay, here's what not to do. I know how this was when I was a kid. Don't want that for Miri, so I'm going to act different. But Kazuki has no reference. He has no clue where to start. So he's just trying to do what he thinks is right. He's like, parental influence is crucial, isn't it? And then he's like, as Miri's parental figure, I've got to be attentive. And then we said our next story, the suspect in a convenience store theft. It's hilarious because this guy is like total scum and he's been hinted at from the start of the episode. And then I like that Ray here says, do your best. And Kazuki says, aw, thanks. And he's like, wait, you got to do it too. And then Ray's like, what? And Ray's like, I'm already doing it. So, all right. And of course, tomorrow's the field trip. And Kazuki goes to pick her up. I wanted to see what this sign said. It said, field trip information. May brings lots of warm days and the flowers in our flower bed are blooming beautifully. We'll be taking an excursion to the municipal zoo to broaden our experiences outside of daycare. May 27th, which is a Saturday. So yeah, it's been, okay, so that was around Christmas when they first got her. So it's been a while. Like, they first got her in December. So it's been like 5 months. It's been a while. 9:30 to 14:30. We'll arrive at daycare and take the bus to the destination. Clothing is anything. Active shoes, broken in, please. A packed lunch, water bottle filled with tea or water, a snack, handkerchief, tissues, plastic bag, and anything else. Please get to bed early the night before and get enough sleep. If you're not feeling well the morning of, it's okay to stay home. If you're going to be absent, please call your teacher by 9 a.m. Outside of the school hours, call the director's cell. We kindly ask that parents stay home. Yeah, don't come with. And he's like, I'm going to pack a heck of a lunch for her. And so then Anna says, like, hey, we think that there's somebody, one of the children said that Miri hit a kid. So we just want to make sure, you know, it might be something. And of course, Kazuki's mind like instantly goes to, it's already time for me to be a parent. Love is Blind. I like the title of this episode. I was getting my hopes worked up, although we get some great Ray and Kazuki moments in this episode. No lie, but I was getting my hopes up like, oh, love is blind. Love's in the air, huh? But no, it's not. I mean, for Taiga and Miri, maybe one day, but God, Kazuki is going to be, here's the thing. Kazuki is the parent that is the most vocal about stay away from my daughter, leave her alone, blah, blah, blah. Ray is the one you need to worry about. Kazuki is vocalizing it, but Ray is the one that will actually kill you. Ray is the one that's actually got the gun pointed at you. Kazuki is just like spouting off all of her thing. There's such a good balance, right? It's absolutely amazing. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, meanwhile, they created a whole fake game for this show. Can we take the time to appreciate that they made an entire fake video game just for this series, Mario Kart? Yeah, special item. It's basically Mario Kart, but it has like N64 graphics. I like that Ray is the wolf. Ray's the little wolf with the earring. And he's just sitting there so unemotional. He's like, Papa Ray is so good. As Kazuki's like doing he's the Mario Kart master. And Kazuki's like, I need to step up my game. And so Kazuki makes like a classic mistake. And only because I've seen this play out the exact same way with other parents and their kids, where you try to push and the pushing gets the kid to push back harder. And the communication just isn't, like, in this case, Miri was right. Nothing bad happened. And she was trying to keep Taiga safe from getting yelled, from getting in trouble, because she realized that the situation did not call for Taiga getting in trouble. So she didn't want to talk to Kazuki about it, and Kazuki wasn't trusting her. And granted, she's 4 years old, but he pushed too hard, and then she gets mad at him and pushes back. And I like that Ray, he's like, did you hit one of your friends or something? And Ray, I love that Ray's like, fight? Did you win? That meme where Ray's like, you got in a fight? Did you win it? That meme. Oh my God. I'm absolutely losing it. It's so good. And Kazuki's like, you're not helping. He's like, Miri, what is it? And she's like, no. She's like, I didn't hit anybody. And because he doesn't trust her, she gets all riled up. You need to tell me who's at fault. And then she gets mad at him. And she doesn't want to see him anymore. And that's when she says, she's like, you're mad at me. And he won't trust her. And then she like storms off. And he's like, Miri. And that's when she says, I don't like you, Papa. I hate you. And he has just his worst confirmations. It's just like the world spirals. And he can't take it. And then Ray's like, stick to what you know, man. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I like that Ray doesn't get on to Katsuki telling him he did totally wrong. He's just like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you did that the wrong way. I love it. But what's funny is that she's 4. And at the end of the day, it wasn't something so drastically bad that she hated him forever. The next day, she was over it. And she was like, hey, Papa. And because he had kind of realized he did something wrong, they both got over it and moved on from it, right? That's the thing. Like, she's a little kid. They're going to be mad one minute and then be fine the next minute. They don't stick to grudges like adults do, right? Absolutely hilarious. He's like, but I've got to be a good dad as a father. And Ray's just like, you keep doing what you do, man. And then he like goes all out trying to make her this bento box. And Ray calls him out on it. And he's like, you're just trying to get back on her good side. That's the only reason you're doing this. And then he's like, yesterday's thing's still eating at you, huh? He's like, yes. And then, of course, she is like, oh, Papa Ray. And she wants nothing to do with him. It's so cute. And when he's like dancing around doing this, he reminded me of every over-the-top anime dad. Like Ishin from Bleach, Ryoji from Ouran High School Host Club. Oh my God, those are the two that stick out the most. Riko's dad from Kuroko's Basketball. Like, they're so over-the-top and animated, trying to overcompensate because they're worried about their kids. That was absolutely amazing. I was like, you've joined the anime dad club, Kazuki. Way to go. He's like, I don't like you, Papa. And he's like, but Miri. He's like, do you want me to join you at the zoo? And then she's like, no. And Ray's like, you're not allowed. It says stay home in big bright red letters. And then that's when Miri's like, I love he's just so antsy about it. And she's like, I'm going to have Papa Ray take me to daycare today. And Ray's like, wait, what? Why? He does it. Ray does it, but he's like, wait, why am I taking you to work? He's like, no. And then Kazuki is just, he's done. It just, that may be the thumbnail. The thumbnail may be him, like, sitting there in the chair, just completely frozen. That's probably going to be it. That's just the most amazing thing. And then he's so worried about her. And then it says, if this breakdown in our relationship puts Miri on the road to delinquency. She's 4, dude. But I do love that we get the flashback as he's crying to her. And then she's like, I'm so sorry, Miri. And then I love to seeing her as an adult. It's like, quit acting like my papa. You get on my nerves, you old fart. And then Ray's like, yeah, she's already gone. I like that Ray... okay, wait. In the flashback where he's at the bus with her, he's standing way off to the side as all the moms are there. Amazing. That's so good. And so Kazuki's like, we've got to go. And Ray's like, why? I like they leave the bike there and the people on the street are like, what's up with these guys? It's great. So when they get to the zoo, we see the mascots. And the moment we see the mascots, I really thought that was how they infiltrated, was in the mascot outfits. It's funny that it comes back to work that they use those to beat up the guy. This episode is all full of like all the foreshadowing, even to the point where you see Taiga right from the beginning with the group. Like, Taiga, he's such a sweet kid. And the thing of it is that he's a little brat at first, he's a little snot, but he just wants attention. Like, he's that little kid, right? You can tell he wants to play with Miri and the other 2 girls. He wants to play with them, but he doesn't, because he's not around any other kids in this scene. He doesn't have any other friends. He wants to be friends with them, but he's, also doesn't know what to do because he's 4. So socially, he doesn't know what to do. He clearly doesn't seem as like instantly extroverted like Miri. So he just kind of tags along. And he's one of those kids that if you've ever been at a grade school or watched kids that age, he's one of those little kids that he starts trouble and he's kind of just like, he can be a bully or he can be mean or he can just be like a little troublemaker. But there's always something underlying as the reason why he's doing it. And you can tell immediately as the episode goes on that he's trying to get attention, that he isn't being noticed. Maybe he doesn't get attention at home. Maybe he's an only child. Maybe he's got like a bunch of siblings, but he wants attention and he wants to be friends with them, but he doesn't know how to go about doing it. So he just does these kind of things, not for shock value, but just to get noticed, right? But it's not the right way to go about it. And Miri handles it so well. And Anna taking all these kids by herself to the zoo, girl, you need a pay raise because that is not an easy task. And then, yeah, we see the two, the alpaca and the bunny, right? I thought it was Ray and Kazuki from the start, but it wasn't. It was just a nice little foreshadowing that that's what was going to happen. And so if you watch the group, you see the two girls that are Miri's friends. They're holding hands and walking. And then we see all of them together with Taiga in his little car shirt there at the zoo. And Taiga's just kind of close behind, right? And then he's like running around with the guinea pig and Miss Anna has to get onto him. So yeah, he's like a little troublemaker, but he's not meaning any harm. He just is a little troublemaker. He doesn't know what to do. And he scares the monkeys away just for attention. Yeah, like you can see him behind them when he goes to when they're looking at the monkeys, you see him behind Miri and them, and he yells to get attention to himself, right? So he's just trying to get people to notice him and play with him, right? Like him running with the guinea pigs in the room. He's just wanting somebody to play with him, and nobody's paying attention to him because they think that he's mean. And then Miri gets on to him and tells him that the monkeys ran away because of him. And he's like, oh. He's like, I'm going to go over and see the lions. And then Miri's like, you can't go off by yourself. And so she runs after them. And then next, the other friends run after them too. So yeah, so then we see Ray and them show up. And Ray's like, I've never been to a zoo. Bless his heart. Ray's getting to, he seems kind of happy. He's like, I'm getting to experience all these things that, I didn't get to see as a kid. So cool. And then we get the robber, which I was wondering, I'm like, how is he going to tie into this? And he's the worst. Like, pointing a gun at a kid for a bento box? Dude, what the hell? I mean, I guess, but I'm like, that's the most awful thing. And that was even before he realized that she was the one that shooed him away. And so then they get lost, and Anna's like, or Miri's like, oh, don't worry. I've been lost before, and it ended just fine. I'm like, she's been lost several times. And somehow Ray and Kazuki managed to save her. Okay, Ray in the tree, or Ray beside the tree and Kazuki in the tree looking for her is absolutely ridiculous. And Ray's just like, Ray tolerates so much in this episode. Ray's like, all right, I will just deal with you, Kazuki, because you're going through a thing. But he's like, this is kind of overboard. We don't need to be doing this. And at the point where he gets so loud that everybody's kind of like, should we call somebody? And Ray's like, I put up with a lot. And then Kazuki's already going into the protective dad phase. Like, my child has a boyfriend. This is bad. And then he's automatically imagining, I will say though, seeing Miri and Taiga as teenagers, and Taiga like has his arm like around her, like on her butt and everything. And she's like, oh, he's my boyfriend. And then like the Taiga kid says, we're like head over heels and shit. Oh my God. And he kind of looked like he has the earring in his ear. And he like, oh my God, has his arms around her. Oh my God, we're head over heels and shit. That is the best. That is the best. And then they're like, love. And they do like the love thing with their hand. Oh my God. It's so good. And Kazuki's like, murder. Ray's like, what are we talking about? He's like, illicit fraternization with the opposite sex. And blatantly flaunting it at that. And Kazuki knows, because Kazuki's kind of a womanizer. So how he imagines Taiga as a teenager may have been how he was. So he's like, no. He's like, you're going to regret making a move on my little girl. God, that's amazing. And then he suspects that because Kazuki has been a womanizer and has had all these other girls strung along probably at the same time, he sees the two girls that are likely friends with themselves and thinks that they're all in like a harem with him. He's like, he's got more than one girl? Wait, Miri's not your plaything? Ray's like, you're being kind of loud. And everybody's like, what's that? Keep walking, don't look. I love that Ray's like, I would give anything not to be here right now. It's absolutely hilarious. And then he's like, don't get caught in some hooligan's clutches. And then that's when the one robber realizes that he's hungry. And so Kazuki's like, we have to make sure they get back to Anna safely. And I'm glad they did follow. And then, of course, Miri's pretty perceptive. Miri, she's not, she's no slouch. Kids notice things that, sometimes parents take for granted, but kids notice things. And she notices. I love Ray's solution of hiding is just to put the newspaper up. It's the most simple thing because he's so plainly dressed. Like, how would you know? Unless you just knew it was Ray, how would you know it was him? It's great. Of course, Kazuki's like in tactical gear and is loud, so he has to actually hide himself. And then Taiga and them say that they're so tired, and she tries to make him move, and then that's when Kazuki and them realize that Taiga's the one that she supposedly got in a fight with. And I love that he's like, I just need a break. And she's like, come on. And then the one girl says, he's always so selfish. But here's the thing. Miri wants to be his friend, and Miri is really nice, and she's kind of like a little natural born leader. Like she has this charisma to her where the other girl's like, man, Taiga's just being selfish. And Miri, rather than Miri agreeing with her friend and saying, let's leave him behind, she says, well, then let's just take a break. Like she instantly problem solver. Like I was like, okay, I think if Miri stays on the path she is now, she's going to be fine. Like she has a good head on her shoulders, right? She's like, we'll just take a break. And she kind of diffuses the situation. And she's always in between Taiga and her friends. Like she's the middle person, right? And even when Taiga's by himself and he spills the water and stuff on him, she offers to clean it up. Like she instantly is so helpful. And the other girls tell him to leave him alone. But she's like, no, it's fine. She's like, just hold still. Like, it's really cute. And Kazuki's like, oh, she's looking after the kid that she fought with? And I like that Ray's like, admirable. Like, Ray's so proud of her. It's so cute, right? It's so, so cute. I love it. And then the guy comes up and starts to take the food. And Miri, that's the thing, Kazuki questions whether she has a sense of right versus wrong. No, she knows right versus wrong and tells the adult, she's like, you didn't make it go beep. You didn't pay for your food. You got to make it go beep and check it out before you can take it. And makes him put it back when the guy comes up, right? Which is the thing. I thought in this moment he was going to pull a gun on the shopkeeper of the food stand. I thought he was going to pull a gun on the food stand guy. Because I was like, well, I guess he's not going to. So then when he pulls a gun on the kids in the bento boxes, I'm like, you didn't have to pull a gun on the bento box, kids. You didn't do it on the storefront owner. So I guess he got desperate enough. I guess he got hungry and desperate enough that he's like, screw this. I'm going to have to resort to this. But I like the girls ask if she's okay. And she's like, yeah, I was just telling him he's got to beep it first. And then Ray is the one that threw the rock at his... I like that Ray... Again, Kazuki is just like, leave my daughter alone. But Ray is like, who is that guy? Like, Ray is the one that you have to be worried about. He will take you out. I'm like, oh my God. These two dads. And Kazuki's like, there's a lot of shifty guys. The best part is there's a lot of shifty guys around here. And then Ray looks immediately down to Kazuki like you? Like you're the shifty guy too? Oh my God, amazing. So then yeah, Taiga and them, they see the Mario Kart thing and Miri is able to connect with him. She's like, my papa places first in all the races. And he's like, oh really? He's like, that's so cool. And then he says, and I like that we have the monkey and we have the little, her backpack that she has in the ED is one with the sheep, right? The little sheep. And then we have Ray that's the wolf. Okay. I'm assuming Kazuki's the monkey, which is funny. He's like, Papa's got them all. And he's so impressed. And the two girls are like, oh, and you can see Ray and Kazuki in the background by the tree. And they're like, man, Taiga's having fun. It's like they're friends now. He's like, your papa's so awesome. And she says, yes, I love Papa Ray. And he's like, Miri. And I love when he's like, Miri, don't you love me? You say you love Papa Ray? And I love Ray's coy little like, Miri says she loves me, huh? It's just, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. Why are you the one getting the credit at a time like this? Ray is the most, I love Kazuki. I thought I was going to be head over heels for Kazuki in this series. Ray has my heart. I freaking love Ray. He is the best. That cloying little smile is so cute. And then all the fan fiction. I'm imagining all the fan fiction from the park day today for the day at the zoo, especially when they're both in the little house. I was like, somebody's going to write the most explicit fan fiction about them in that little house, waiting to make sure Miri's okay. And I'll read it. So somebody's going to do it. Do it. I need it. But yeah, they're both like in the house watching her with the spy goggles. I love the sounds they made when they pulled out their lunches. They were like, ta-da, ta-da. It was adorable. It was very cute. I loved it. It was great. And then that's when Miri realizes she didn't pack her lunch. And I love that they both are like, oh my God, the boy shared his lunch with Miri. And he did. He shared his lunch with her and was nice. And then they all end up sharing their lunch. It's really cute. And he ends up apologizing to the girls. It's really super sweet. And he apologized to Miss Anna. It's very cool. And it's cool to see how Miri's kindness and her goodwill kind of rubbed off on Taiga. Like her being nice to him ended up in making him be a better person. I'm like, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. But man, then this douche lord shows up. And he's like, okay. Kazuki and he's like, I guess we'll take this home. And then that's when this douche lord shows up and tries to attack them. And then, oh my God, only Buddy Daddies could make... Okay, and here's the thing too. Ray, the alpaca outfit doesn't quite fit right, so his arms are hanging out. But them both, like the murderous aura coming across them in the rabbit and the alpaca suit, freaking hilarious. Oh my God, I died. A rabbit and alpaca who happened to be passing by, peon. Yeah, unhand the kid, Paca. They're like in character. And then they managed to save Taiga and them. And the rabbit, like, I never thought I would watch an anime where a rabbit and an alpaca mascot beat up a criminal. I absolutely love it. And they just knock him out. Like, he just headbutts him and that's it. Like, knocks him out and they break the gun. He's like, are you unharmed, children? And then, thank you, Mr. Asagi-san. You saved all my friends. And then, and then they just wave goodbye. Like, you saved us from a guy with a gun. Thanks. And they find Anna. Oh my God, if she had known that had gone down. Oh man. If she had known. And then Anna realizes that Taiga and them have made up and it's all fine. Oh my God. She's like, this is a special trip, so don't wander off. So then our boy's driving home. And they both say she's way more attentive than we thought. Miri. And Ray's like, yeah. And Kazuki's like, I had worked myself up to being a proper dad. But I ought to trust my kid more. And I like that you can kind of see Ray, his eyes through the rearview mirror in that moment. I like that. And then him looking, he's like, well, just do your best, I guess. Oh, that's so cute. Ray and Kazuki, I want them to stay her parents forever. I don't want them to not be her parents. I need them to stay her parents. I love it so much. Oh my God. And then she comes home and she's ready to see Kazuki again. And it's like it never happened. Everything's fine. And he's like, oh, he's like, I got to hug a big rabbit. And I loved it. I loved it. Ray in this moment, he gets a little jealous. He's like, well, wasn't there an alpaca too? God, these two, amazing, absolutely hilarious. He's like, go wash your hands and gargle. And she says, okay. And then Ray has the book, right? So Ray went and picked her up from daycare, right? Because Kazuki thought she was still going to be mad at him. And he goes there and says, it's a note from Anna. The fight was Miri trying to stop him from being mean, but her hand accidentally hit him. So they weren't fighting. Kazuki's like, I got mad at her for no reason. She was telling the truth. And then when she comes back, she's like, I want to eat the lunch that you made. And that's when he gets all emotional. And Ray's just like, and he's like, Miri, it was all my fault. You didn't do anything wrong. She's like, that's tickly. Like he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow. And Ray's just like, oh my God. I love it. I love it. And then, yeah, then we have the woman coming in at the very end. And it's like raining outside. And he says, hello, Karin-chan. She has kind of like a yandere vibe to her, but maybe not. I mean, if she's coming in to see Q, she probably has a yandere vibe. I don't know. Maybe she's Ray's sister. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's going to be like the cool aunt. I don't know. Or, I don't know. Interesting. But what I kind of like about this episode too is that in a lot of anime, where the parents are involved, a lot of times you have that over-the-top parent, like Ishin from Bleach, or like Ryoji from Ouran High School. You have those over-the-top parents when the other parent is not present. So they are kind of like overcompensating, right? They're overcompensating for both by trying to fulfill like both roles and be over the top. In this, what's interesting is that Kazuki kind of gets overwhelmed and does that too, but then Ray is there. Ray is actually there. The other parent's there to be like, okay, hold on. Cool your jets. Let's think about this for a moment. And manages to bring him back down. So I love that. This series is so good. And it handles parenting in such a relatable and genuine way. But by the end of it, and the way the scenarios and everything are hilarious. Ray and them, they're dynamic. I absolutely love it. I love it a lot. So I'm very curious to hear your comments about this episode, but has my heart. This one's one of my favorites so far. I will definitely go back and rewatch this. So in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back next week with episode 7 of Buddy Daddies.